I'm gonna love you.
Hey everyone. Alright, I know it's been forever since I've done a YouTube video, so sorry about that. You can look at that's one of my spray paint pieces. It's actually one of my more popular ones behind us. I've sold a lot of those. This isn't going to be a video about art. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I actually have some really good news in this video towards the end, so you gotta watch it. But y'all are really gonna like the good news. Might move this down a little bit here. There we go. All right. This, like I said, I've been wanting to do this for a while. I feel like it's a video I need to make. Some of you are probably not going to like it. I hope that you keep can't even talk. I hope you keep an open mind about this and at least hear me out, okay? If you still don't agree with me or you don't feel that way at the end, hey, that's cool, man. I ain't going to hold it against you. If we're friends, we're still going to be friends. I ain't going to say I won't keep trying, but, we'll still be friends. All right, I'm going to talk today about God. My experiences in Christianity, organized religion, what I don't agree with organized religion. Basically, how I grew up in it, I walked away, and I found my way back. I guess you'd call this a testimony, so to speak. I do have friends that do not believe in God. I hope they're watching this. I'm going to talk about some things that are really hard for me to talk about. So if I get a little choked up, I apologize ahead of time. I'll try to keep my composure. Some of these things I have not even talked to the VA about. I refuse to because I don't want them poking and prodding. You know what I mean? I've not talked to a shrink about it. I've not talked to a lot of family members about some of this stuff. But I'm going to tell you about it today because it all ties in to how I came to come back to, I don't know if I'd call it Christianity. Well, I mean, yeah, I am Christian, but I'm not part of organized religion. I still will not go to a church. I am of the belief that you do not have to go to church to worship God and to spread His word, and you do not have to go to church to go to heaven. I'm under this belief, so I'll explain that. All right. Anyway, I'm going to give you some backstory, and I'm going to walk you through some of my Army career. I'm not going to talk about it all. Some of it I still don't want to talk about. I'm actually going to talk about one of the hardest parts of it for me that led to my discharge from the United States Army. And then, like I said, at the end, I've got some good news. So let me give you a little backstory. I grew up and was raised in First Baptist Church here in Indiana, Newcastle, Indiana. Used to be on 14th Street. Now they moved it down here to the old Walmart. I don't know why you needed that big of a building, but whatever, your business. I was actually baptized when I want to say 11 or 12. I don't know. I do believe I did it for the wrong reasons because I think I did it out of being scared of going to hell. And that was basically my only reason to do it, I think. So, like I said, I did it for the wrong reasons. The church I grew up in, uh, and this kind of ties in with why I don't really like organized religion. There was a lot of backbiting, gossiping, a lot of drama, a lot of politics. Well, not, government politics, but church politics. There was a lot of, it wasn't a good experience. I'll just put it that way. Not for me anyway. It may work perfectly well for others, and if it does, more power to you. It just wasn't my thing. But I was forced to go by my mother until I was, I don't know, 16, 17 years old. Um, so, when you're forced to do something, you back away from it. If you're a young kid and you're forced to do something, when you grow up, you just don't want a part of it. Trust me. Need some coffee. All right, now let's get into the Army. Now, like I said, I was brutally bullied. That is the reason I went into the United States Army. Because I thought that if I went in the Army, and nobody'd pick on me anymore. Well, I was right, but I guess I kind of went into it the wrong reason, but needless to say. I'm not going to talk about the first part of my military career. I mean, needless to say, everybody knows I went infantry, everybody knows I went airborne. I'm not going to talk about any of the other stuff. I ended up in the old guard, honor guard, Arlington National Cemetery. This is going to be the hard stuff to talk about. I was in Echo Company, which is honor guard company, because of my height. I'm 6'2", so Echo Company at the time, not only did we do burials in Arlington National Cemetery, but we did off-post stuff as well, like Pentagon, Joint Service Cordons, a reflecting pool. We had to get a Yankee White security clearance for White House duty, like State House dinners, where we all stay in the Oval Drive waiting. They pull in their limos, they go in, we go back to base. When they're ready to leave, we go back to the Oval Drive. We stand there like a bunch of dummies. They get in their limos, they leave, we go back to base, we're released for the night. Which some nights ended up being midnight. We had to be right back at base at like 0500 in the morning, but you'd have to get there like 0400 to get your blues prepped for that day. Your brass shined, your shoes shined, your uniform pressed. We had presses in the basement of each barrack. So, but anyway, we had to do all that on top of the burials. Now, I've been asked how many people I've buried in Arlington. I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. A lot of you know I have PTSD, and it stems from Arlington. I have blocked out a lot of the burials. I only actually remember like 3 or 4, but I know a lot of times we did at least 2 or 3 a day, at least 5 days a week. We would do off-post burials if it was within 100 miles of the base. I did that I don't know how many times. If I had to take a guess, I would say probably over 1,000 burials. I don't know. I have no idea. Now, while I was at Arlington, my best friend at the time, I'm not even going to mention his name because I don't know if he's alive or dead. And if he is alive, he may not want people to know this about him. So I'm not going to mention his name. But he was also airborne qualified and stuff. So we kind of bonded there, because at that time there wasn't a lot on base that was actually airborne qualified. So like I said, we kind of bonded, and we were both in Echo Company, Honor Guard Company. we would kind of de-stress, bounce stuff off each other. At the end of the day, he would come. I actually ended up moving off post. I got married, and moved off post there in Arlington, Virginia. And Trav, sorry, I about said your name, dude. Um, my friend would come over a lot of nights, watch TV, and we'd kind of de-stress, drink a beer or whatever, and just, well, man, it was rough today, wasn't it? We were each other's outlet. Well, my friend had got with one of the local girls, and she became pregnant. She decided she wanted to have an abortion. This destroyed my friend. He begged and pleaded with her, offered to pay all her medical expenses, all her prenatal, pay her rent. I mean, just pay everything. He was willing to pay everything if she would go ahead and have it and let him have it. And she said no and kind of laughed in his face. And I knew it messed him up. I could see it in his face every day. I didn't know the full extent of how bad it messed him up. One day we was watching TV like we always do. He disappeared, and me and my wife at the time, I turned to her and I was like, "Hey, where's so and so?" I almost said his name again. She's like, "I don't know," and I went in the bathroom. The door was wide open. He wasn't in there. And I noticed that my front door was slightly open. And I was like, what? And I caught something out of the corner of my eye in my kitchen at the sink. I thought it looked like blood. And I went in the kitchen, and there was some ice in the sink with a good amount of blood in there. And I yelled at my wife and told her to call 911. And I told her I think he slit his wrist. And I ran out the door. I looked in the hallway. I didn't see him. I opened up the elevator. I didn't see any blood in there. I happened to notice a little blood a little bit down the hallway, so I took off that way to the stairwell, and I went about 2 floors down, and I found him curled up against the wall. And I sat there and held him while he's bleeding out. I'm trying to get the blood to stop pouring out of his wrist, because he didn't do it like most people do it across this way. That won't kill you 9 times out of 10. He went this way, and he went from about here all the way to here, and he went deep. I tried to make makeshift tourniquets on both of his arms, and I held him until the ambulance showed up, and they got him. Luckily, he survived. He ended up in Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland, for 3-day psych eval. And then, of course, he was going to be out processed to the Army. Well, he wasn't allowed to come to my apartment anymore, obviously, because of what happened. So, my outlet to de-stress was now gone. I couldn't talk to my wife at the time because she just wouldn't understand. She wasn't part of that unit. She wasn't performing the burials every day. I couldn't go to my CO, my platoon leader. I couldn't go to my platoon sergeant, first sergeant, anybody like that, because they all just had the attitude, it's infantry, suck it up, drive on. They would have just told me to carry on, soldier. Get over it. Everybody here is dealing with it. Just freaking deal with it. Shut up. So I knew I didn't have an outlet there. And I was unaware at the time that I had PTSD. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I just knew that I was having a lot of nightmares. I was waking up in cold sweats. I was getting very irritable, very easy. I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was just Travis. God. It's going to be hard not to say his name. Anyway, I didn't have a way to de-stress, and I snapped. I lost it. I had a shotgun in the apartment at the time. What military guy didn't have, their own little arsenal in their apartment or whatever. I snapped, and my wife at the time tried to stop me. I tricked her, and I went out in the hallway, and I put the barrel of the shotgun in my mouth. She called base. Base got a hold of Arlington Police Department. I don't know if they were SWAT or what they was. I know on both ends of my hallway there were guys creeping up behind bomb shield things, those shields with like the little window thing. And my elevator was cat a corner from my apartment, and they had it forced open where it wouldn't close, and they're behind a bomb shield thing, another one of those things. All of them tell me to put the weapon down. My squad leader was in the elevator. He's losing it. He's crying, screaming at me to put the weapon down, begging me to put the weapon down. This was the first wake-up call I got that God is real. I pulled the trigger. Nothing. I pulled the trigger again. Nothing. So I ejected the round, the shell, and I chambered another shell. I pulled the trigger. Nothing. I pulled it again. Nothing. Then I remember hearing one of the SWAT guys to my right saying, "Put the weapon down, son." And I remember yelling out, "The piece of shit won't work anyway," and I threw it on the ground, and they bum rushed me. Well, then I got my 3-day psych eval, Walter Reed Army Medical Center, Bethesda, Maryland. And I was informed by my CO that I was going to be out processed as well. This was the mentality of the military at that time. He felt that suicide was contagious, and he didn't want the rest of his troops catching it. So he was out processing me and my friend, and we were both getting bars to re-enlistment. He did not want us back in. I later found out I had to go to court there in Arlington, because in the military, a lot of you may or may not know, you do what, I don't remember if it's called double jeopardy or what it is, but you face consequences in the military, and then after you're done with that, then you have to go face your consequences in the civilian world, which in this case was Arlington, Virginia. So military, because I was being out processed, chose not to, there was no reason for an Article 15 or a court martial or anything like that because I was being discharged. So there was no further action with that. So I had to go to court for Arlington on, I guess, a weapons charge or whatever it was, because one of the SWAT guys said that when I threw the weapon down, that I pointed it at him or something, which I didn't. If I did, I wasn't aware that I did. But while I was at court, they informed me, because I had told them that I pulled the trigger and it went off. They thought I was lying because they tested my shotgun in their lab or whatever, where they do ballistics tests and stuff, and they said both of those shells went off. So they thought I was lying about pulling the trigger, but I wasn't. Um, I and even then, even then, I thought, well, it was just a fluke. Dust got in there. The stopped the firing pin. Moisture. I tried to explain it away, even though subconsciously, even though I knew it was God that stopped this whole chain of events. I knew it, but I didn't, because of the whole being forced to go to church and walking away from all this. You know, I didn't want to. I didn't want to believe it. There had to be a logical explanation for this, and that's what I chalked it up to. Oh, it's just, there's a logical explanation to this, and that there's that's it. And I went ahead, did my out process, and was discharged from the United States Army. Um, Ended up in Louisiana. Needless to say, that didn't work out because, like I said, I was unaware at the time that I had PTSD. So needless to say, we didn't work out. So I ended up in Indiana. I was basically forced to Indiana out of the state of Louisiana. Let me tell you, they're a whole different breed down there. They follow some Napoleonic code or some crap down there. But my wife at the time's father was pretty high up in the community, and before I was forced out of the state, I was taken to a courthouse, and the judge informed me I could leave this. I could do one of two things. I could voluntarily leave the state, never come back, or he would find some trumped up charge to put on me, and I could spend my time in Louisiana behind bars. So I'm not stupid. I chose, bye, I'm gone. Well, at the time I wanted to stay because I had a son that was born. But they wouldn't let me see him, blah, blah, blah. I kept trying. I even got their little pastor involved, and even he couldn't convince him to let me see my son. And anyway, that's why, because I kept trying to see him, they took me to the judge. Judge told me, leave or you're going to jail. So, I left. I hated it because my son was still there. But I kind of had no choice. Well, because my parents thought that I abandoned my child, they essentially let me be homeless. I was homeless on the streets of Muncie, Indiana. I went to the Muncie Mission, but what little I had kept getting stolen. That place was like a Nazi concentration camp, and I chose I'd rather be homeless than stay in that, sorry for the language, shithole. So yes, for quite a while I dug food out of McDonald's dumpsters. I've slept behind dumpsters, slept under bridges, shit like that, for I don't remember how long, quite a while, until I met my second wife. But are you seeing a pattern here? Somebody kept trying to wake me up, and I still was not waking up. Anyway, I met her. She basically got me off the streets. Um, I got back working what I could. I could never, after the military, I could not hold a job to save my life. Because with PTSD comes paranoia, and I did not realize it at the time, but I also had an anxiety panic disorder. I had severe depression, and just when I thought things were going good, it would fall apart. I'd get fired, I'd quit, I would just not show up, and then they'd have no choice but to let me go for, no show. But anyway, that went on and on and on and on and on and on and on for years. I wouldn't go get on disability. I wouldn't go try to get my VA because pride. Nah, I don't need help. I can. I ain't found the right job yet. I'll find the right job. It'll just all these other ones was just the wrong job. That was my mentality. You know. And the whole time, the one that could have helped me the whole time, I'm not even turning to him. I'm doing this all on my own. I've still had that infantry mentality that, you know, you do whatever it takes. You adapt and you overcome. And you just make it happen. It don't matter how you do it, you just make it happen. And I was making it happen the best way I knew how. So, anyway, let's fast forward, I don't know, 20 years. Yeah, I went about 20 years trying to hold a job. It wasn't going to work. Um, Third wife, the one I'm currently with. Thank God it finally worked out. I've been with her going on 18 years now. I finally found the right one. Well, at least one that put up with me. All right, now where am I at? All right. Like I said, I've been with her about 18 years. We lived in Arkansas for the first 13, 14 years. Well, no, we lived in Michigan, then we went to Nashville, Tennessee, lived there 2 years. Then we went to Arkansas and lived there however long. We've been here back in Indiana for 4 or 5 years. I don't know. Anyway, when we moved back to Indiana, now this is the part that's going to drive home my point that the big guy upstairs does exist. Now remember, I fired off 2 rounds, 2 shells. They didn't go off, but they did for the Arlington Police Department. So there's one of your points right there. The other point was that bridge. Neither one of us died that day. I survived being homeless. There's another one. But if that still doesn't convince you, the best is yet to come. I've got some evidence coming up that you will not be able to dispute for nothing. Trust me on that. It's coming soon. Anyway, we come to Indiana. We've been here a year or two. I have a massive heart attack. Not a mild, not a moderate, a massive heart attack in my LAD, my left anterior descending, the Widowmaker. Now, I'm stubborn. So I'm walking around in the Walmart having a massive heart attack for probably 20, 30 minutes because I'm not going to the hospital. I'll be fine. Just leave me alone. Let me sit down. I get to the front of the store. Some of you have already heard this story before. You're going to hear it again. I get to the front of the freaking store and I can't make it no more. I end up on the bench. I have to lay down. I'm passing gas because I have no control over my bodily functions at this time. I puke all over the floor, over everybody's feet. I'm sorry, those of you who got puke on you that day. I apologize. This whole time, my wife's like, "Why, Brian? I'm gonna call 911." I was like, "No, you ain't." I'm still at this point. I'm still being stubborn. Are you seeing a pattern yet? I'm a stubborn SOB. And I'm still not getting the picture. So anyway, she's like, there's the door greeters there, and she's like, "I don't know what to do." And he said, "I know what you do. You call 911. I've had a heart attack. He's having a freaking heart attack. And from the looks of it, he's having a nasty one. You need to call 911. So she calls 911. The ambulance shows up. They got me on there for 30 minutes because to them, it doesn't look like I'm having a heart attack. EKG to them looks okay. So, but anyway, it takes them like 30, 35 minutes to get me from the Walmart to Henry County Hospital. That's only like 10 minutes away. So I get to the hospital, they do an EKG. This whole time they're just pumping me full of morphine because at this point, I'm starting to wake up. At least to the option, I start praying and I'm like, God, please, even just give me just 3 seconds. You don't have to take the pain away. Just give me 3 seconds, please, just 3 seconds, because this pain, I don't ever want to feel that in my life again. I'm going to tell you, it literally felt like someone took a dagger or a knife from my back to my front, and at the same time, they were just ripping, like trying to rip my arm off. I mean, this was the most excruciating pain I ever felt in my life. And I've felt a lot of pain in my life. So they do an EKG, and they're like, we don't know what's going on. It don't look like you're having a heart attack, but it looks like the front side of your heart is not getting any blood. So they said, we're going to wait 15 minutes and do another EKG. So they come in 15 minutes, they do an EKG. Well, then they call Indianapolis, the Heart Center in Indianapolis, St. Vincent's Heart Center. And they, however they do it, send them my EKG things. And St. Vincent's is like, why is he not over here? Why have you not sent this man over here? He's having a massive heart attack. The front side of his heart is not getting any blood. He's going to die. Get him over here now. And they wanted to lifeline me, and I'm going to tell you, I don't know why Henry County has a lifeline, because they don't never fly anywhere. That day it was raining a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. They could have flew, but couldn't do it. So needless to say, I had to go via ambulance. That's a 45-minute trip. I get over there, they ripped me out of that ambulance, man. I mean, oh my God. There's like 8 of them, and I'm not going slow. They are freaking, man, we were flying down the hallway. They are running. I get in I guess, the operating room, whatever it is, and they're just ripping clothes off me and cutting them off and shaving here and shaving there and trying to talk to me, and, and he goes through my leg and he goes up in there, and I hear him say, oh, there you are. And about, I don't know, 10 seconds later, the pain just gone. And I'm like, did you just put a stent in me? And he said, yeah, how did you know? And I said, because the pain's gone. He said, good, that's what we want. He said, yeah, I just put a stent in you, and I'm about to put another one, because you had a plaque rupture and it completely sealed off your LAD. And he said it was pretty extensive, so they needed to put 2 stents in because it was so bad to open it back up. And he did that. And anyway, that night, I guess I was unaware, but about 4 o'clock in the morning, which was like 6, 7 hours later, I wake up and there's a male nurse there, and I heard him say, oh, thank God, finally. And I'm like, what's the matter with you? And he says, son, I thought we was going to take you back in the operating room. And I was like, why? He said, your heart, your sinus rhythm, heart rhythm, whatever, has been so erratic or whatever for the last 6 hours. We were beginning to think we missed something. We thought we was going to have to take you back in, but it's finally started leveling off. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. And I fell back asleep. Well, anyway, I was spared. I was told the severity of what happened the next day by one of the heart doctors. I was told that I was very lucky I was alive, because my heart, the front side of my heart, went without blood for over an hour. Well over an hour. Needless to say, I should have been dead. But I should have been dead. Um, but that next day, they did an echo of my heart, and I remember him saying, "Well, we kind of expected this." He said, "Your heart's still in shock. It'll bounce back some. We don't know the extent of the damage yet. We won't know for about 6 months." Um, so later I found out when they did that ejection fraction, my ejection fraction that day was 10 to 15%. I guess that's pretty bad. And 6 months later, they do an echo. I'm in cardio rehab, blah, blah, blah. And it was 35/40. And he said, "Well," he said, "you've got some permanent damage to your heart. That's not going away." He said, "I'm hoping it'll go up another 5%, maybe. We'll see." Well, needless to say, a year later, he did another echo. It didn't go up, it went down. It went 25, 30%. And he just, I thought he was going to cry that day because he's like, "Oh my God, not you." He said, "You are one of my best patients. You've done every single thing I told you to. You exercise like a madman. You don't smoke. You're trying to eat healthier. You're trying to lose weight. You take your medication like clockwork." He said, "You're the perfect patient. You have literally done every single thing I've asked you to do." And he said, "I wish I had better news for you. I don't. I'm sorry. Your heart, it's more damaged than it was. It's down 25, 30. He said, "It could be a fluke. We're going to do another one in 3 months and see." 3 months go by. He does another one. It's the same, 25, 30. Well, then he says the magic words I didn't want to hear. He said, "I'm sorry, but you are now at high risk for cardiac sudden death. We need to put a defibrillator in you." This thing. I don't know if y'all can see it. Where is it? Yep, there it is. There's a scar. You can see it kind of moving around in there. Anyway, they put that thing in me. And I've had it for a little over a year now. Well, I've been getting a lot of PVCs, I guess, and PACs. I didn't know about it. That's where your heart will like beat and then another real fast beat, but you don't feel it in your pulse because second beat is in your ventricular or whatever, and it don't pump any blood out in that extra beat, so you don't feel it in your pulse. So I went back to Dr. Taylor and I'm like, "Hey, can we do another echo of my heart, just see how it's doing, and maybe put me on a monitor or something?" He's like, "How often these PVCs happen?" I'm like, "Every day." He said, "Well, we'll do a 48-hour monitor, and then we'll do the echo." So he does the echo, do the 48-hour monitor. Okay. Oh, I forgot something during this. After my heart attack, I actually got sepsis. Yeah, I got a nasty infection somehow, and I ended up with sepsis and got taken via ambulance back to Indianapolis for another week stay over there. They put 3 IV antibiotics in me back to back to basically save my life, and I was told again, "You almost died from being stubborn." For a week, I was sick, running fevers, chills, and stuff, but it was weird because when I was running a fever, I didn't have chills. When I wasn't running a fever, then I had chills. Very weird. But the day that they took me back over there, I tried to get a shower, and I about passed out in the shower. And when I went to my local doctor, they couldn't find my pulse, couldn't get a blood pressure on me, and they're like, "You're going to the ER." So they called 911. They called an ambulance. They transported me. Blah blah blah. They couldn't even hit a vein, so they ended up putting a thing in my freaking throat. Tilted my bed. Oh, let me tell you, that was joy. Again, I'm praying, get me through this. Please get me through this. I'm starting to come around. You getting the picture here? I'm starting to come around. Somebody is waking me up, and I'm starting to come around. He gets me through it. I get to Indy, blah, blah. They do cultures, can't find nothing. A week later, they let me go home. So anyway, before they put this in there, I was, because of all this panic disorder and everything, I'm freaking the crap out. I'm like, oh my God, I just know I'm gonna die on the table. I know this is it. I was just waiting for death, man. I'm gonna die. I know I'm gonna die. It's over. I'm done. And I remember saying, God, at this time, I'm starting to pray more. I'm starting to read my Bible. I'm coming back to God. And I remember, but I still haven't fully got my faith and stuff. I think I'm kind of just going through the motions, because I'm scared. When you're scared, you'll be surprised. You'll turn to anything. So I'm like, God, please just give me a sign that everything's going to be okay. Please give me a sign. And later that day, we went to Walmart. We're walking around, and I'm freaking the crap out. I'm like, why won't he give me a sign? Why won't he let me know? And Jen's like, calm down. He will. Just calm down. And she said, you're going to give yourself a dang panic attack. Calm down. And we were leaving Walmart, and I seen people standing outside. I'm like, what the crap's going on? Is there a wreck out here or something? Them doors open. I look up in the sky, and almost perfectly centered on me is a double rainbow. I mean, it's just, everybody is just in awe. I mean, people are out there crying. It was so magnificent that it was just perfectly centered over the Walmart parking lot. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I start bawling. Tears are coming down my face. And I'm like, all right, God, I got it. I got the message, I knew then that it was going to be all right with this thing. And it was fine. Now, here comes the part you want to know. If all this still hasn't convinced you yet, here comes the good news, and here comes the part I'm going to drive it home. If you don't believe after this, then I don't know what to tell you. I'll keep trying, but this is my Hail Mary attempt. Now, this whole time, like I said, during this amount of time, I've read the Bible. First time in my life, I have read the Bible. I don't understand half of it, but I read it. I pray a lot. I started passing out tracts. I bought Bibles to send to people. My faith is coming back to me. Now, for the last year, I've been praying nonstop, asking others to pray that God would heal my heart. Dr. Taylor, when he told me I needed a defibrillator, I told him, I said, is there any chance my heart can make a comeback? Will, regain function? And he said, I'm sorry, no. He said, as many years as I've been doing this, I was hoping it would come up 5%. Yours went down 5%. Actually, yeah, 5%, 25, 30. No, 30. I don't know. Actually, mine went down 10. But he said, yours went down. I was hoping it would go up. He said, I'm sorry. No, it's the amount of time that's went by. It's been like a year and a half, almost 2 years now. No, your heart is healed. All it's going to heal. I'm sorry. He said, no, I'm not saying a miracle can't happen. I have seen a few miracles in my day. He said, but I don't want you to get your hopes up. He said, by all means, because my cardiologist is extremely religious. He's a Christian. That's one of the reasons I go to him. And he's like, by all means, keep praying to God. See what happens, but it's out of my hands. There's nothing else I can do to help you. We can try to mitigate the symptoms. We can try to keep you from going into heart failure. He said, technically you have heart failure, but you're just not showing any symptoms yet. He said, and we're going to try to keep it that way. I'm like, all right, cool. I appreciate that. But anyway, for about the last year and a half, I've been praying relentlessly, having others pray that he'll heal my heart. Now, here's the news you're going to get. I told you a little while back he did another echo, did a heart monitor of me. Well, the freaking beer flu happened, so needless to say, I couldn't go up there to get my results. I didn't want to wait months to get my freaking result because I want to know what's going on, especially with these PVCs and stuff. So Dr. Taylor calls back. I'm like, wow, oh, cool, okay. And he's like, okay, in 2008, he said, let me look at your charts here. He said, I'm looking at the echo from 2018. He says, showing 25-30 ejection fraction rate. That's why we had to do the defibrillator, blah, blah, blah. He said, now let me pull up the echo that we did a couple weeks ago. And I kid you not, I heard this man go, that's strange. And I'm thinking, oh Lord, what's going on? I'm thinking the worst. Hello, panic disorder, I'm thinking, oh God, he's found something. I'm going to die tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, just give me the news, doc. I can take it. And he said, I don't know how to explain this. He said, I don't have an explanation. He said, your heart's gotten stronger. And I'm like, what? And he said, your heart hasn't just gotten stronger. Your ejection fraction rate is now 45 to 50%. A normal person is 55. My heart has almost healed back to normal. He said that was impossible. It would not happen except for a miracle. And I remember the only words that come out of my mouth was praise God. I said it like 3 times, and he said, that's right, praise God. Because he said, that is the only explanation I have for what just happened to you. He said, I've never seen this before. He said, what just happened to you is a miracle from God. He said, that's the only explanation I have. He said, you still have some damage on, I guess, one of the interior walls. He said, that's more than likely what's causing your PVCs and PACs. He said, but I looked and I don't see any danger from your PVCs and PACs. So he said, if you can get used to it, I'd rather you get used to them because the medication has got some nasty side effects. And I said, oh, I can get used to them. If they're not life-threatening, you'd be surprised what you can get used to. I got to use this stupid defibrillator. And he said, all right, good. He said, yeah. He said, I don't see any need to see you back for till about 6 months, 7 months. And my heart is almost healed up, people. I don't know. They may take this defibrillator out. I don't know. I mean, I'm not at risk for sudden cardiac death anymore. According to the ejection fraction rate, I guess. I was so dumbfounded by what he told me, I couldn't think to ask him, hey, do I still need a stupid defibrillator? Blah, blah, blah. He was about ready to put me on Entresto, which is a stage 3 heart failure medication. Now he ain't even talking about it anymore. My heart is 5% away from healed, people. 5% away from healed. Now you tell me that God doesn't exist. I've told you things in the past, the shotgun not going off. Me surviving the heart attack to begin with, me surviving sepsis. I forgot to tell you, I ended up with pneumonia too, like 4 months after that. Survived that one too. I just remember my cardiologist saying, ooh, pneumonia. Well, this will be a good stress test for your heart. This will be interesting. I'm like, my freaking science experiment to you. But there you go, people. There you go. There's my testimony right there. Right there. I mean, what more proof do you need? I am your proof. I am walking proof that God exists. He has spared my life. I should have died I don't know how many times. The fact that I am walking on this planet is a testimony that God exists. I mean, people argue, oh, it's just coincidence or it was a fluke. Once or twice, I would be inclined to agree with you. But in my case, 30, 40 times, that's not a coincidence. That's not a fluke. That's God. God exists, people. God is there for you. All you have to do is seek Him out. Trust me, I get it, man. I was and I still am not for organized religion. I'm not going to be shoving that crap down your throat because I don't even believe in it. I think organized religion took what was supposed to be and twisted that crap all. It ain't supposed to be that way, people. In the Bible, Jesus said, "You are my church." Not that building. You are my church. Go out and spread my word. He didn't mean sit behind four walls. He said, go out and spread His word, But God is real, people. I'm living proof. Trust me. I have a very scientific brain. That's why I struggled with my Christianity for so long. Is because I have a very analytical brain. Everything is black or white to me. There's no gray area. It's black or it's white. There's no in between. And everything has an explanation. That's the way my brain works. Just like with the shotgun. Must have been moisture. Must have been dust that somehow got in there just right that prevented the firing pin, It was an explanation. It was the big guy trying to wake me up saying, hey, he's down there slapping me, trying to wake me up. And unfortunately, I'm hard-headed and I'm stubborn, and it took over 20 years for me to wake up. Now that I've woken up, now that I've turned back to Him of my own volition, my own free will, my life has gotten so much better, folks. So much better. I'm not rich by any means. I'm not, I can't take extravagant trips and stuff, but I'm doing okay. My heart is almost healed, people. Are you hearing me? Something the cardiologist said would not ever happen. My heart is almost healed. They may very well take a stupid defibrillator out of me, people. Now you tell me. There's your proof. There's your proof. If that isn't enough proof for you, I don't know what else to tell you, folks. I don't know what else to tell you, And I know some of you have probably got questions right now. Unfortunately, like I said, I've read the Bible once. I'm working on the second time. I only understood maybe half of it the first time, if that. And like I said, I'm very analytical, very scientific-oriented brain. And, it's hard to understand. The Bible is hard to understand. You got to really study that book. So if you have questions, shoot them my way. I'll try to answer them. I'm not saying I can, but maybe I can guide you to somebody that can, or maybe we'll find the answer together. I don't know. All I wanted to do was to give you my testimony and let you know God is real. I'm living proof, man. There has been, like I said, if it was one or two incidents, and you tell me, oh, that's just coincidence, that could be explained away. Because of my analytical brain, I would tend to I'd believe you. Yeah, you're right. Because I did it myself for 20 years. But in the last couple of years, sometimes God has to take extreme measures to wake people up. It wasn't bad enough that I, tried to commit suicide how many times. The shotgun didn't go off, got kicked out of the Army, couldn't hold a job, failed marriages, got ripped away from my son, was homeless, digging food out of a dumpster. None of that woke me up, people. None of it. I was a stubborn SOB, let me tell you. I had so much pride that I would rather eat food out of a dumpster than ask for help. That's how stupid I was. That's how prideful I was. Don't be like I was, people. It took me 20 years to realize that God loved me. And this whole time, God was trying to help me. And I refused his help, people. Don't make my same mistake, please. God is real, and I'm your proof. I am your proof, people. Oh, I got one more thing. Here's the more proof I forgot to tell you about. Me and my father did not talk for the last 8 years of my life. And for probably 20 years, we didn't really get along real well. To the point, even when he got, because when I had my heart attack, he couldn't even be bothered to call me. When I found out he had cancer, I wasn't going to call him. This was our relationship. Well, when I found out that he was going to hospice and he was going to die, I prayed to God and I was like, please don't let it end this way. I've made mistakes. I don't want to regret this the rest of my life. Do not let it end this way, please. My kid went down there to see him. I was in the computer room. I walked into where the kitchen and dining room is. I heard my dad's voice. It didn't even sound like him. Because at first I was like, who is that? And Jen kind of mouthed, your dad. And I'm like, what? And we just started talking. And we talked for about a week before he died. I talked to him, matter of fact, the day before he died. I was able to, we got him some Red Lobster. I had never used DoorDash before in my life, and one of the nurses there walked us through it. And we got him Red Lobster. I got him some Admiral's Feast or whatever it was, and got extra scallops. I got him a bunch of stuff, and I remember I talked to him, and I guess the DoorDash lady, because it wasn't our name, actually my wife's name, she was like, do you know a Jennifer? And he's like, yeah, but she's in Indiana. And she said, well, I'm going to have to talk to her. And my dad, told her, so, well, you can talk to her all you want, but you're not going anywhere with that lobster. But I was glad I was able to do that for him before he passed, and God gave me that too. Everybody would have swore up and down me and that man would have never spoke again, because he was basically saying he wouldn't come to my funeral, and I had already told numerous people I wouldn't go to his funeral. I just, neither one of us cared. But when I found out he was in hospice, I prayed to God, please don't let it end this way. I don't want to regret this for the rest of my life. Let me talk to him, I think I remember saying, at least let there be closure, let there be peace between us or something. I don't even remember. But now that I think, I don't remember asking God to actually let me speak to him. So when we were actually talking, it just floored me, and God provided that, because, he was actually, when they took him to hospice, they thought he would die on the way over there, because on top of his 2 kinds of cancer, both terminal that he had, then they were telling him he had like literally weeks or months left to live. He had a massive heart attack on top of that, and they thought he would die, in transportation. It's like a 10-minute trip to the hospital. They thought he would die before he ever even got to hospice. Well, 2 days later is when my kid got down there. And the next day, so we're on, 3 days later, I was talking to him, and God gave me a whole week to speak with him and make peace with him. And, he never took ownership of the things he did, but it's all right. It didn't matter. I apologize for things I did, and we had peace, we had closure, and that's all that matters. Now I won't have any regret through my life. So there's more proof that God exists right there. So anyway, there you go, folks. There's my testimony. And I wanted to let you know I'm going to be baptized again as soon as all this crap is over with. The first time I did it for the wrong reasons. This time, and I kind of felt like I was forced into it. This time I'm going to do it because I want to, because I love God and I love Jesus. And I want to do it the right way. And even though I have panic anxiety disorder, I want to do it at my mom's church in front of people, just like the Bible says you're supposed to. And I'm not going to take one of my Xanax. So, I'm sure God will take care of me. It'll be okay. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I know some of you have probably seen on Facebook that I said I have Bibles. I do. I've still got half a case of them in my back room. Any of you on here that want one, I will get you one of them free of charge. You don't have to pay a single penny. You don't have to pay for shipping. I'll pay shipping, everything. I'll make sure you get it. Okay? Doesn't matter where you live. I had a friend in the Philippines. I went ahead and just bought her 5 of them off of Amazon. It was cheaper that way. Still was a lot of freaking money, but I don't care. I said I'd get them to him. I will get it to you. I don't care where you live at. I'm telling you, if you want a Bible, I will get it in your hands one way or another. Now, during all this, I'm not going to hand it to you. Now, you want to come to my house, pick it up. I might set it out on my air conditioning unit and, before you get there, and then you can take it with you. But, if you're in another state, you're in another country, I don't care. If you want a Bible, I will get it in your hands. Just let me know. Let me know on Facebook. Let me know on here. Let me know wherever. Twitter, wherever. Doesn't matter. I'll get it to you. That's a promise. Anyway, let me hop off here. I just wanted to give you all my testimony and let you know. Because I know a lot of times it's hard to believe in something you can't physically see, And that was me for a long time. Even though he was giving me all the signals I needed, I was just too stubborn to see it. And I'm sure in your own life, if you look back, you'll probably find the same instance. There's been times where he was trying to let you know, and you were probably like me, too stubborn and or too scientific, analytical to say, well, that's just coincidence. It's a fluke. It can be explained away. Well, more than likely it was God. Look at me. I'm telling you, people. 1 or 2 things can be explained away, but not 30 or 40. You can't explain 30, 40 things away. Even the law of probability, that doesn't even play into this. It's impossible. I would have to literally be the luckiest man on the planet Earth for that many If you use the law of probability for that many 30 to 40 instances going that way for me, I would literally have to be the luckiest man on the planet. I'm not. I go to a casino, I've been to a few. I don't win crap. I buy a lottery ticket, I don't win crap. I'm not the luckiest man on the planet, folks. It's God. It is our almighty creator, God. So, like I said, let me get off here. If you want a Bible, reach out. I will make sure you get one. I don't care where you live, free of charge. I'll take care of all the costs. Don't worry about it. Now, like I said, if you're in another country, like the Philippines thing, it actually was cheaper for me, and because shipping one from here to the Philippines, I'm not kidding you, it was going to cost me like $118 shipping, and I was like, oh my God. So I was able to get 5 off of Amazon cheaper than what one would have cost me there, because Amazon has hubs all over the world. I don't know, but it was cheaper that way. Not much, but some, and I was able to get her more Bibles because she wanted to start like a Bible study, and I was like, hey, I'll take care of it. There you go. So when I tell you I'll get you a Bible, I will get you a Bible. I promise you that. Now I think the ones I have are like New Testament only, maybe. I don't know. If you want the actual whole, because New Testament is actually that's where Jesus comes into play. There's references in the Old Testament, but Old Testament is more genealogy and the flood and Moses and Abraham and Isaac and Isaiah and all this. The New Testament is where things are driven home, and that's where Jesus starts to explain things, and so that's why I got the New Testament ones. If you would prefer New Testament and Old Testament, an actual Bible, let me know. I'll buy one off Amazon and have it shipped to your house. I don't care. Let me know what color you like, and I'll make sure you get the color you want. I don't care. Hey, I love God. I'm all for spreading His word, so I'll make it happen, folks. You just let me know. Get me word any way you can, and I will see to it. I promise you that. So that's it, folks. There's my testimony. Some of that stuff was a little hard to talk about, but when you're spreading God's word, sometimes it is hard, and I think some people need to hear my story. Maybe it'll wake them up a little bit, and I'm sure if you look back on your own life, you'll find instances where you probably had similar situations. You may not have had as many as me, but as stubborn as I am, unfortunately, it took that many things to wake me up, people. Like I said, I don't think I actually completely, went to the point of, I don't believe in God. I always believed that there was something out there, but I pretty much did a 180 from the way I was raised. And it took, like I said, about 20 years for me to get the point, because I am one stubborn SOB. Those of you who have gamed with me, known me, or friends with me, you know what I'm talking about. I'm a stubborn, prideful son of a bitch. I ain't playing. Y'all know this. This is fact. This ain't hidden. It is fact. So, there you go. That's it, folks. That is it in a nutshell. I hope this will help some of you out there that are struggling with your faith. Some of you that question God's motives. Some of you that question if God even exists. Hopefully, this shed light on that He does exist. I'm living proof of that. Because the only other alternative is that I am literally the luckiest man on the freaking planet. And I'm not, because I ain't never hit the freaking lottery. I ain't won more than like $10 in a stupid freaking casino. I ain't the luckiest man on the planet. What I am is a child of God, and God loves me. That's what I am. And that's what you are too. Hopefully, those of you that choose not to believe in Him, if this still hasn't woken you up, I will pray for you, and I hope that before it's too late, that you are given the opportunity to wake up. Before you pass on without knowing God, And I hope I truly hope that doesn't happen to you. And I will pray that it doesn't. And those of you that choose still not to believe, like I said, we're still going to be friends. That ain't going to change. I'm not going to try to change your mind from time to time, because I will. But I will not berate you. I will not try to shove it down your throat. Because I'm not your judge. That's Him, not me. I'm just your friend. He's your judge, not me. So anyway, let me hop off here. Like I said, I hope y'all got something out of this. I know it's been going on an hour and 15 minutes. I apologize, but some testimonies take a long time. And I'll try to get some more stuff on my YouTube channel. I'll try to get some art on here. I'll do something, It's hard with the PTSD, severe depression, panic anxiety disorder, it's hard. And I kind of burned myself out with YouTube. Got to get the content. Well, I think I kind of burned myself out on it. So, but it's been about 8 months now. I'm getting little tinges of the art bug coming back. So, don't give up on me. Look for some art, or can't do challenges with my kid, because my kid works on a freaking ambulance, and I ain't about to have the freaking beer flu brought right up in my house when I've been in quarantine for 24 freaking days now, self-quarantine, because I don't know exactly what's going on with my heart. My wife, diabetes and stuff, and technically I have diabetes too. I just don't take pills for it because I exercise like a freaking madman. But, can't take a chance. So, not allowing anybody in, out, blah, 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 till this crap is over with. So, anyway, y'all stay safe out there. I'm praying for each and every one of you. And if you have any questions, seek me out, man. I may or may not have the answer. Probably not if it comes to the Bible. I'm going to tell you right now. Probably not. I'll look it up. I'll research it with you. I'll try to direct you in the path that you need to go down to get your answer. But as far as the answer, does God exist? I just gave you your proof. What more do you need? What more do you need? The cardiologist told me this would not heal. It healed. It stumped him. He is a Christian. And still it stumped him. What more do you need, people? I love y'all. Y'all be good to each other. And I promise you, I will bring you something again real soon.